Hey folks, and welcome to another video from A Plain Truth. Just a major league heads up. All the ducks are lining up. All the immigration across the borders and the packages being mailed and all the threats in Russia and China, it's all coming into conclusion now that the markets are starting to finally puke. Since 2007, Wall Street has run up to new highs. Notice the 66.71. They play games with us, folks, but look at how far it's run up, and it's all based on massive borrowing, massive debt. We've never seen $1 trillion borrowing next year, an 86% increase as Congress, all of them, both sides agree to raise the debt limits. So there is no debt limits. They can just spend as much as they want when the party's going to collapse. And this is my note. This is what I'm trying to get to you right now, is it is happening now. The markets are starting their collapse. Interest rates are rising, and that's going to cause the fall of the market to collapse around the world. They've already started in many countries. So they're hiding it up with all the shenanigans about the borders and all the fake bomb packages, which we'll get into in a sec, and more of the false flag events we've known to see on a regular basis. But now they're breaking a left-right paradigm. They're arguing the left versus the right. And most people are neutral. They just don't want anything to do with that kind of conversation. When you talk about conservatives, you should be talking about fiscal conservatism. You don't hear that. And on the left, you don't hear about anybody wanting to stand up for themselves, to take care of themselves, our own rights to food, our own rights to healthy water, our own rights to say no, my child, my choice to vaccines. Meanwhile, while they're improving cuts for the rich and the wealthy, they're cutting out Medicare, Medi-Cal benefits, and Social Security that you and I, everybody else paid for. The baby doomers, the money will not be there. So they must collapse this country, and that's what's begun right now with all the rhetoric and all the noise increasing, all the fires that are being started, all of the hurricanes that are being generated, all of the massive debt that's been put on our children for future debt. Remember, the IRS made a law that if you owe over $50,000, you can have your passport revoked. What was that all about? Keeping kids here so they can become the new China, the new debt servitude. That's what it's all about. But CNN, and Trump making fun of CNN, now they're saying all these packages were mailed to all of these different people on the left and whatnot, and it's an attack on the left is what's going on here apparently, right? Bullshit. Look at the package, folks. It didn't have a return address. Who opens their own mail? It opens by their post office box at CNN, not by the individual. There's no timestamps that have recorded that the post office was mailed. All of it smacks of a false hoax, another false flag to get us into not that bomb's going to be mailed everywhere like the Unabomber. Now you have Alex Baldwin who was playing Trump on Saturday Night Live saying, we need to overthrow the government. He's an actor. And check out the car this guy had. It was man held after campaign against Trump. He had his car all labeled like the van. Now, did they get this from Chris Haskell, who put his van with geoengineering stickers on the side? I wondered if they copied that. But listen to Mike Adams at Natural News, how he's creating the conflict and sparking a civil war. Yeah, Mr. Adams, you frickin' shill.
Real Dot Video gives you the freedom to speak. What have you been waiting to say?
I'm going to show you in this video what's happening. We are collapsing into civil war. The left is now calling for kill teams, mass executions and assassinations while they're targeting U.S. senators with doxing campaigns out of congressional computers from the House of Representatives. Embedded left-wing radicals, I don't know what you call them, terrorists, who are in the deep state now. They're in the DOJ, they're in the FBI, they're in the House, they're in Congress. They are now working in a way that's complicit with the hysteria-pushing left-wing media to push these left-wing radical activists to violence. And this violence will soon spill into the streets. There will be blood in the streets. And I am very, very concerned. That's why I'm filming this today. I'm very concerned that United States senators are likely to be targeted by these radical leftists. For example, remember that encounter with Senator Ted Cruz the other day where these radical leftists were screaming at Senator Cruz in a public restaurant in D.C. And you could tell that these left-wing activists, they're deranged. They're lunatics at this point. They need to be, sent to, an insane asylum or something. But that was just a verbal altercation. My fear is that this is now going to escalate to left-wing people attempting to stab senators, such as Senator Cruz, And by the way, Senator Cruz is very crucial for us here in Texas. We need Cruz to defeat Beto because we cannot have an open borders policy, which is what the left wants, which would just sweep through Texas and destroy our state and destroy our Second Amendment, destroy our ability to even defend ourselves. We need to have Senator Cruz safe, but all U.S. senators need to be safe. Violence is not the way to solve problems, but the left is becoming increasingly desperate and they're resorting to violence. So my fears are that they're going to target U.S. Supreme Court justices who are conservative, and that they are going to target U.S. senators and other prominent conservatives, including conservative speakers, radio hosts such as Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Alex Jones, you name it. My fear is that all these individuals are going to be targeted with kill teams and assassination squads. And in this video, I'm going to show you left-wing radicals discussing these types of activities in their own words. And they're doing it on Twitter. And Twitter refuses to ban them so far. And this is another problem here. The tech giants have decided to support left-wing terrorism while they are selectively censoring conservative voices. So I've been banned and deplatformed off of YouTube for many, many months, shadow banned on Facebook, practically delisted on Google and other things, while these radical left-wing terrorists are given, top rankings, top visibility. They have no problem getting their content shared on Facebook and YouTube and even Twitter. These tech giants are complicit. These tech giants are, and I've said it before, they are, and listen to me carefully, these tech giants are enemy combatants. They're enemies of America. They are actively and deliberately working with radical left-wing domestic terrorist groups. And in today's video, I'm going to prove that to you by reading the words from these left-wing groups as they discuss these terror plots and how to kill people on Twitter, and they don't get banned from Twitter. It's just incredible. So for all the links of this, go to naturalnews.com. And the story there is called Civil War Alert. Leftists openly plot mass executions of conservatives as Democrats release home addresses of Republican senators. Check out that story. That's what I'm really going to explain to you here in more detail. And by the way, just as a background, if you're not familiar with my work, my background is I'm actually a food scientist. I'm a published food scientist. I run an analytical laboratory. I'm in favor of food freedom and health freedom. So I'm called the Health Ranger. My background is about health and nutrition and preventing disease and so on. But I got into the science, and I'm also, of course, an American. I'm a patriot. I'm pro-liberty. I'm a Texan. And I just can't I can't sit around and do nothing while our country is being destroyed by these radical left-wing communists.
So I want to get a little more into the background and bio of this Mike Adams at Natural News. I've been following him for years. Absolute shill, but shills that aren't heroes are Michael Hastings. He died for trying to expose the truth about General Petraeus and others in the Pentagon, so they knocked him off. And then we have others here, but I wanted to get into the Galian Truthy Awards, I called them. Michael Adams claimed he was personally threatened after the false flag Boston bombing and his recent calling for killing of scientists acting like Nazis. He's also questionable sales practices to sell his products and inflate his website hits with refusing to seriously acknowledge geoengineering practices. So that was I wrote back in 2014. And as you can see here, the legend of Mike Adams and the reality. There's a lot more to the story about Mr. Adams. He pined in retrospect that he operated Natural News like a charity, giving up tens of millions of dollars. He wanted it to be truthful, that his recommendations were not profit-driven. I could not earn anything from the products I recommended because that would compromise my integrity. Mike Adams, all about integrity. Health and Misinformation with Mike Adams was official host of Alex Jones. We all know who Alex Jones is. Alex Jones had Trump on his show. That's why he's backing the right-wingers. Mike Adams got right-winger now, whereas before he was supporting all the truthers and the preppers. Mike Adams was CEO of CEO of Ariel Software. I don't know if he still is today. His clients include Microsoft, Zoom Airlines, eBay, etc., XM Satellite. He has 10,000 customers. He's hardly a lone ranger battling against corporate giants and insurmountable odds. and is very well connected to powerful corporations, exceedingly wealthy because Ariel software is among the most expensive email marketing options available, customers paying $5,000 for a single software license from him. He also ironically owns spamdon'tbuyit.org, a website allegedly aimed at instructing people not to buy from spammers. Yet this site portrays the spam as consistently profitable business because some people actually purchase products that are advertised in spam emails, according to Adams. 2006, Adams set up hundreds of different domain names, providing thousands of web links back to Natural News. Reflects a practice that is used by spammers, so-called viral marketers, that is meant to artificially improve a site's listing position and search engine results. We were able to verify 199 of Adams' 450 sites contain Truth Publishing's address and contact information. Truth Publishing is in Taiwan. Same address as Taiwan's telemarketer Inspire. This address is listed in the registration information for some of Adams' remaining sites. For his flagship website, Natural News, he used domains by proxy privacy service to make certain that no one could look up the information. This guy knows what he's doing. Only one after Adams' epiphany about wealth generation, he began writing articles expressing new beliefs in supplemental mythologies in order to sell products that personally profited him. He likewise encouraged his audience to promote the product line too. Adams was soon placed on Moxor's product formulation advisory board in exchange for his willingness to, quote, play ball. Now, many of you remember, if you've been following Mike Williams, that in 2008, he decided it was time to abandon everything, so he moved to Ecuador. This is when I first got in touch with him. He was showing how water pipes worked. He was showing how he was living off the land in Ecuador, stated that he was doing it, gave up everything because he could no longer believe in the United States and had to get out of the country that was imploding. So he moved to Ecuador. He stated that he became so concerned about corruption and poor health care in the U.S. that Ecuador was a wise choice. Ecuador is a country plagued by poverty, kidnappings, disease, poor hygiene, and citizens are often without access to clean water. In fact, I had many of my friends in law enforcement in Ecuador, and I spoke with them regularly. Why does he have many friends in law enforcement in Ecuador? Sure, they were a little corrupt, but not in the over-the-top criminal way like the FBI. Ecuadorian immigration can be gained by anyone who purchases an expensive property in that nation. Citizenship in Ecuador can literally be bought. While in Ecuador, Adams partnered with a local real estate company to encourage his readership to join him. Remember, he was trying to sell lots down there. He had offered tours for interested parties. He wrote articles about Ecuador, including tips to help advisors. Then after spending 2 years, he all of a sudden decided to uproot and come back to the United States, stating that Ecuador did not provide him with enough privacy. So he naturally moved into the low population area, Austin, Texas, home of Alex Jones. At the time of this writing, Adams was still attempting to sell his Ecuadorian home for a measly $700,000 that comes with all the Ecuadorian luxuries, including electricity with a gasoline generator. So there you know the truth about Mike Williams. But heads up and on a swivel, folks. Things are going to get much uglier here. They're setting us up for it all. The prime and the pump for just utter chaos. So please know where your food comes from. Know your neighbors. Get some defense that you can do. Keep your head on alert and protect yourself at all times. I'd get some long-term food supply right now if you could, because things are about to implode. Plain truth out. Catch the next video. Peace.